Hello everyone, I'm still Moja from Kazna, and as usual for Kursor TV I will do another video where I can show you something better about the game, where you can learn a bit, I hope. Today we will follow a 1390 in a spotting action of 11,000. Fortunately it's a bushwanking action slash driving on Malinovka, and you will view it through the first eyes of the first Dutch member of Kazna clan. What's specific about this light tank? It's one of the oldest in a game, one of the oldest tier 8 lights in a game. And from the French line, it's good because from tier 5 to tier 8, it's all lights. You know how Wargaming sometimes like to switch between mediums lights to heavies to whatnot, but here we are, it's pretty straightforward. And since I would say 1390 is a keeper, this is okay, but then you will still need a crew for Lorraine and Bachat. If you have a CDC or Revolver, then you can train that crew parallel with this. Nonetheless, this light tank has one of the best silhouettes of tier 8s, definitely. So overall, I would say it's the best spotter of all the lights. It's not as sturdy as a 54 light with armor, definitely. You can see hull armor is like 50 frontal, turret 40. It can bounce sometimes, that's weird because it has really weird big tracks, and I even managed to bounce it once with the Jack Panther, go figure. The shell is probably bigger than 10XL. What it happened? 1100 HP and not much engine health, you can see here, so it does get set on fire easily. You need to take care of that. 400 view range, that's perfect for a spotter, and small silhouette allows it to enter even the smallest bushes and remain unspotted. It has a drum, that means it has 6 bullets of clip size, you see, and normal AP pen 170, but if you switch to APCR, so you can be, well, better armed in a higher tiers which it enters, this 248, so it's, you can deal even damage with it. Now the problem is it was over nerfed, I would say, even in one moment, and you could see aim time, normal aim time is quite high, so is the shell reload between the shells. I guess it prepares you for Bachat, who had a similar nerf. You see dispersion 0.36, not the best one. Combined with the same time, it's almost like a heavy tank. But, of course, it's not all that dark. You can improve a lot of these stats by wearing something like this. You see coated, 440 immediately, view range, gun length drive, that will lower your aim time together with vents. Now, this is some setup I would run because it's more overall for all the maps. But you can say, I don't want that, I want to really go full spotting, and then you will go something like binos and look at the increase in view range. You will go then camonet, so you can really remain unspotted even more in the bushes, like they really have to even approach further, and you will still carry vents, and you will get this sick view range. But let's review something else even. From the skills, he should always have camo. Like all the lights should have camo, guys. Camo is really most important skill for both mediums and lights. You can have some shooting skills like this, and you will definitely need recon and situational awareness if you have a decent crew. And look at this, without any kind of help, it will be on 420. And go forbid, if you really have a good crew, look at this. Now this is a really sick crew. And when you end up, classic, things that you need. Up, where it is, there we go. Voila, look at this, 480 while you're driving. If you replace that with binos even, this is 540. Like, you cannot have 540 view range, but that means you will see people earlier because their camo factor will be broken by your large view range. So that is something about equipping this tank. Only thing you can do to boost it even further is to add strong coffee, but then you would have to probably dump medic because this thing, as I said, burns, and you really need fire extinguisher, and you definitely need repair kit. Here we can see how it looks, the tank itself on a module. So you have really a big gun that can actually get shot by tanks, and that's something that soaks up damage, and tracks that can soak them. Armor itself, really, it's like even you angle the paper. So that's about that. Uh, what is really important to remember with this tank, like all tanks that have the turret in a back like this, it doesn't really lower the gun well when it's forward. It's plus 6 degrees. But you can always deal with that. You turn your tank backwards and you're ready to run away and you get a better angle at shooting. Try to remember that. It's a really good hint, and that is something that light tanks like this one must really use to utilize and survive. Now let's go on a map. This was a perfect spotting map, one of two best ones. Other one would be Prokhorovka, or even let's say Murovanka would be third, but these two, Malinovka and Prokhorovka, would be the best. The Dutch started from the south side, from one cap, and I'm gonna show you some tricks what you can do even without watching this game. Now, first and foremost, easiest for all light tanks would be to go like this here in a swamp. Now, somewhere in this area there is clusters of bushes, and we can use either something like this or like this, depending what they have in their team, how many lights. You have to be careful because one suicidal light can really make your day miserable. And from these positions you will spot them, whatever they do in those areas, and you can keep a track on them, and your team can do even some huge initial damage on their team. Of course, we can do even some more passive kind of spotting. You can go somewhere in a bush here, or or we can go even here, and from there we can easily spot who is trying to defend base or who is trying to approach. But those two versions, I don't like them too much because sometimes people rush and it's a high chance that then RT will just splash you around here if you're not careful. But if you're alone, there is a set of bushes there you can use for yourself. Now, other than that, that's kind of lower kind of spotting. You can go out to the base immediately or even later after the first spot here, and you can go in these bushes here or even like this in these bushes there. What do you gain from there? Well, all kind of spotting. Like you will monitor over the swamp, you will monitor over these areas, you will monitor over the church or over the climb. So it's all really useful for your team. And the last option, and we have a lot of options as you can see here, you can just go to the hill here and stop and spot, or you can even go here around the lighthouse up or windmill, and you can enter these bushes and spot them climbing up and run away. The last option is really risky, and it should be done only if they don't have mediums, like if they have heavy tanks, and then you just take fast initiative and cut off the hill from them completely. All of these versions can be used combined and in consecution, and you can just change between them. And of course, don't forget at one moment, this is also a nice way because from here you can really maneuver right below their base and you can spot everything around. Now there is a lot of arrows here and everything of this and that. We will just say Dutch did a lot of this, and let's see how he earned his 11,000 spotting damage. Let's see that. Finally we are here and we are on Malinovka. Dutch is in platoon with tank destroyer and RT. This is really good actually when you want to play a platoon like this, because light tanks then do all the spotting and none of them will take it, but they will do a lot of damage on his. And we see Dutch chose the first approach. He will go into the swampy area and try to spot who is going out of the enemy base. This is a good use of this slope, and he is approaching the clusters of different bushes you can use here. There you see already first spot. And I'm gonna pause here and show you something. Already some damage was given on the other side. You can see that. There is a problem a bit here, because this guy theoretically with a good enough spotting, and if he enters some bushes behind, could spot him because of his turret peeking like this. And even more important, when you enter a bush, if something is peeking on the other side, like tracks or whatever, it can be spotted from other areas. So honestly, when he was positioned here, he should have entered the bush a bit more and a bit more straightforward, so it's harder to spot him from various angles. But we're gonna go back to his view and see what happens here. Now he saw several tanks, and you see that CDC and TVP, one of them spotted him from there, and he, fortunately for himself, he did not panic, and he had a lot of luck without being damaged. So he ran immediately behind this little hill, used this as a cover, started to fade, and ran away in the bushes. Never panic in a light tank. Even when you're spotted, just find the biggest group of bushes, whatever you can, and just fade there. Light tanks fade faster than any other tanks because of the small silhouette, and their camo factor is much better. And honestly, of the crew skills, well, they have rarely WOT skill except camo and whatnot. Well, he immediately came to a secondary spotting position. He was very fortunate in this game. I would say it's a game with a lot of arties and not any other lights in his team except him. So there was no one to steal spots. That's really cool. And he's playing really patient, watching who is getting spotted and giving his team time to move and to shoot. That's also really important. We can see there carelessly entering the bushes and getting punched all over, and that all goes for him. If he was a cash register now, you could see like spotting damage and money blinking on the same side, I would say, here right now on the top of the screen. A nice shot by Artie from his own platoon. I think that CDC was quite lucky to even survive that. But we're gonna speed this up a bit, because sitting and waiting for a light to move from a bush is not always that fun. And now he's doing exactly as we said on intro of the video. He's going to secondary position of the bushes here, but since he did not notice anyone go up that much on a hill, he's just driving forward and taking all kinds of small bushes and terrain advantages in his favor, which is really cool, because you can approach even really close to their base, because with his initial spotting he already chased them away, so he can do these kind of things. And there we go. The guys that thought they are perfectly safe and that there is no one to catch them, you can always approach using these bushes. Now there was another way to get here, but I think in this case he chose the better way. He could have went through the water, but in this case this was a good choice. Oh, sorry bro, sorry. And look at this. He's patient, he can shoot people, but that would be suicide. As a spotter, never shoot. You must choose what you're gonna do. That's like your role in life. If you're a spotter, don't shoot when you're in a front line. He knows this guy will come and proxy spot him because he suspected there is someone there. This could have been done a bit gentler, I would say, but okay. And now he will just come back, because after a few seconds CDC will fade and he will just bring him back. Now this is the part I don't like here. I'm gonna break and tell you why. The CDC, we did a video about that, like really recent. CDC has a really great mobility and gun depression of -10. As a good player, Dutch should know it. You do not approach such tank with the front part of your tank. What he should have done here is turn the back of his tank. That way his turret would be angled so he can shoot CDC back if he peeks out to shoot him like this. But like this, he's just taking damage for no reason, because he cannot return fire. You can see where his aim is going. He can shoot airplanes, but not CDC. But at least CDC is taking some damage from his team, who is sniping him from the hill. And another shell for no reason. So from all the plays so far, I would say this is a bit careless mistake on his side. But even like this, there you go, Conway in his platoon did damage to Tortoise. Artis and everyone is watching after his spots, and everyone in enemy team is constantly taking damage, and it's all based on his spot. Lovely. There is a bunch of campers left now in the base. This game is not even long by the spotter standard, but most of the people that got shot on the way were completely his spot. And he can go around this little hill and use all these bushes, and you see how he confused this tiger, and now he can use his gun, a clip gun, from close proximity, because otherwise for sniping this gun is now really horrible. It was really nice before, nice MREC, but after those rebalances, it was really horrible. It's one of the worst sniping guns in the game now. But then again, it should be played more as a spotter. So our little 1390 baguette Frenchie is going around, doing his jolly rounds. He's like playing a convertible on a summer out on the sun, and they really can't do anything about it. When someone plays a light tank in a game like this, he is a plus, a huge plus for his team, and can be a difference between victory or defeat. Or you have those suicidal lights, they have no clue what to do, they just drive around, die, and that's it. Or even worse, they sit behind RT and pretend to be snipers. And then again, a barrel gun. Once you flank someone, you are totally superior. I have no clue what is this gun hitting at this moment, but he is definitely not hitting their target. And this is the game. It looked so easy. And let's go to stats and check out what he did. Now by the statistics, we can see an interesting detail. Dutch didn't even play with premium, so there you go guys. Some guys really don't care about that kind of stuff. He got an ace tanker with base experience of 1746 and total of 2619, and that is really nice and impressive experience. He got a scout medal and patrol duty, and we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 guys overall he spotted. Let me see, look at this. His team won 15-3. Only 3 guys died, and he was always spotting in the start, and they had no clue what's going on. He did 2239 damage, killed even 2 guys in the process, and almost 11,000 damage, 10,873 spotting damage. I would say that's quite an impressive game. It looked very easy, but honestly guys, go and try it yourself. See if it will work, and then comment on that. And for detailed report, he even made some money, though he shot gold and everything, and though he played without a premium, with a premium he would make almost 90k money. For a game of 6 minutes in a light tank, it's really good. And guys, if you honestly want to work on skill on your account, and if you want to work on stats on your account, games like this would break your stats through the roof, because light tanks and mediums stats wise give you the most if you care about those things, and they are the hardest to play more or less, so it's well deserved. That was it for this video. I hope you learned something new. I hope you had some fun, and we will see you in a bit. Bye all.